Everyone's just waiting to become a PC gamer. Yeah, I'm kidding. So I wanted to talk about something that seems to be odd to me, and that's this consistent need for people to say that if games go to PC at any point in time, even if they're day and date, somehow that means that console gaming is over, and the 450 million people to 500 million people every generation that purchase consoles, all of those people somehow are just waiting to become PC gamers. I don't understand this. So let me give you an example. On the Xbox 360, one of the biggest games was Gears of War. When that launched, it propelled the Xbox 360 into the stratosphere. Everybody wanted that game. It was a highlight of a leap in graphics from one generation to the next. It was just an incredible game. And a year later, that game came to PC. Now, nobody that I knew, even myself, I didn't know that that game went to the PC. I had no idea that Gears of War, the original game on the Xbox 360, went to the PC, and no one else did either. Now, Gears of War 2 eventually came out, and Gears of War 3 eventually came out, and yet nobody just stopped buying Xbox 360s. In fact, the Xbox 360 took half of the market share away from PlayStation, coming off of the best-selling system of all time, the PlayStation 2, during its PS3 generation. So, why didn't Gears of War going to PC a year later signal this transition back then of all of these people who were waiting to become PC gamers? In fact, why did more people then go on to buy Xbox Ones? Why did more people go on to buy Xbox One S's and Xbox One X's and Xbox Series S's and Xbox Series X's? I hope I got all those acronyms right. And the reason is because there's a market of people who just won't associate playing video games with a PC. I hate to break it to people out there. If your idea of this destination for the best games ever is higher resolution and higher performance, or modding the hell out of the original version or vision of a creator's game, great. But most people who are console gamers don't care about that stuff, and they will never care about that stuff. Now, I suppose you could say, well, I'm just old and times are changing and I'm not recognizing these changes and the effects that they're going to have, but I've lived through the video game crash. The only thing left to use to play video games with were PCs, Commodore 64s, Amigas, and I used those. But then when a little company with an entertainment system reintroduced a small box built to do one thing, all of those people then went right back to their consoles, and the industry has been growing ever since for that particular market. This is the same argument that I've heard every generation when I hear people say consoles are dying. This is the last generation for consoles, irrespective of PC or not. Mobile is going to kill consoles. All of these people are simply just waiting to be graced with PC gaming. They had the opportunity to do it in the past, they never did. They had the opportunity to do it in the present, and they're not doing it. And they'll have the opportunity to do it in the future, but somehow, if you're a PC gamer, the past, the present, doesn't have any impact on your decision-making process, but the future, all of those people are going to do that. It just doesn't make any sense. Now, I get the idea that you can do anything you want with a video game on your PC. You can have the highest resolution, the highest frame rate. You can mod it, and you can put your favorite characters in games that don't even belong in those games based on what the creators of those games wanted. I understand that. But the idea that games traditionally are created on console and then come to much stronger hardware, and the only thing you can do with them is just make them run better or look a little bit better, that's not attractive to me, and it's not attractive to millions of other people. Metal Gear Solid 2, the original Halo, built with specific hardware in mind and the limitations of those hardware. So if you have a rig that is so much more powerful, you're still dealing with a limited product coming to you from a smaller console that doesn't have the CPU power, the GPU power, the RAM, and the only thing that you can do with it is make it look better, run better, and maybe modify it. And if you're lucky at times, maybe a texture pack here or there. That's wonderful. But there are millions of people who would rather see their boxes be used to create the defining games that those PC gamers are talking about running better. They've already existed. They've already run their course. They've already done their job. They've already enticed console gamers to purchase them, enjoy them, be wowed by them. And the idea of a console gamer being upset that, well, their favorite game that they played a year ago or 2 years ago, or even their favorite game that released now on their Xbox or their PlayStation is on PC day and date, and the resolution is so much higher and the frame rate is so much higher. Again, I hate to break it to you, but all of those people that I know that I talk to, they just don't care. Another great example is Alienware. Do you remember when Alienware was making a quote-unquote console? They slimmed down a PC to look like a console so that people who are buying these really small boxes and putting them under their televisions would purchase it. And what happened? No one cared, even though all of those great features were on that box. You can have all of those experiences that PC gamers have that make it so much better than the games on console, and no one purchased it. It's because it's a different market, a different group of consumers, and they simply do not care about mods or high-end resolution or frame rates. Of course, you need a frame rate that's serviceable, but at the end of the day, a great console with great games is always going to sell. I remember back in the day, Crysis being the one game on PC that sort of was built for the PC, right? It didn't have to worry about the constraints of consoles. It took advantage of the highest of the high-end PCs, and it was an amazing game on PC. Now we have console games designed for these really small, limiting boxes, and those are the games that it seems like the PC audience is craving for day and date. Why would you crave a lesser product? It's created on a box with much less RAM, a much worse CPU, a much worse GPU, at times a much worse SSD to be able to stream data back and forth, worse loading times. Why would you want those products on your beefy PCs? Where is the PC exclusive equivalent of Horizon Forbidden West, built for the strongest CPUs and GPUs, only for that PC crowd that makes it look so much better than anything you can get on a console? It doesn't exist. You're looking for console games to run at a higher resolution and a higher frame rate and modify. I don't get that as a console gamer. I would much rather buy a box that's so much more powerful than what I can get with a PlayStation or an Xbox and actually see a game built with 64 gigabytes of RAM in mind, polygon counts that are so high they could never translate to a console. But instead, what I'm seeing is console quality games run at higher resolutions, higher frame rates, modified, maybe some extra graphical effects here and there. That's not enough for the console gaming audience to migrate en masse and cause the extinction of consoles. Just not going to happen. Feel free to sound off in the comment section below. Let me know if I'm crazy or if you, like me, have been a console gamer for over 40 years and will always be a console gamer, irregardless of the power of PC, resolution, and frame rate. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.